Hello everyone, welcome to another speedrun game against Elio Cagno. Rated 1924, highly rated. So I guess he's so highly rated that if we win this, we're actually going to reach 1800, and this will be our final game. So he decides to play a Scandinavian at 1900, but he plays Queen A5 unlike the other people, so he's playing theory. Let's put a pawn in the center and open our bishop. He puts a pawn here to give his queen some type of escape. I'm going to continue developing towards the center, and he brings a knight out. Fine. I'm going to continue my development actively towards the center and prepare castling. Okay, he blocks his bishop in. A lot of people usually bring it out to one of these squares, but this guy doesn't want to get harassed by the pawn storm and the knight moves that you've seen in many of my other Scandinavian speedrun games. Castling makes a lot of sense here, so we could try to get a rook opposite the king and just well developed. He goes bishop e7, preparing castling. Okay. I mean, rook e1 makes a lot of sense. Developing the rook, it touches a lot of squares down the center. b5. I wasn't expecting b5 out of nowhere. I was expecting castling. Like, he just went bishop e7. But okay, b5 hits the bishop. Maybe this is a move. I mean, I guess I could drop back to wherever I want, really. Let's see what's wrong with this, though. Is he going to go b4? No, he's going to castle. Weird sequence of moves, but okay. We could just continue our development. Bishop, queen, knight in the center. If we go bishop e2, he's going to move his queen somewhere. And then we can move the bishop again. Or, I mean, he's going to move his queen willingly. We don't need to attack it. So, in order to give our queen maybe some scope, let's jump this knight in while that square is not being contested. And now our queen has access to f3, which looks down the diagonal that he just weakened by playing b5, right? If the pawn was back on b7, the c6 square would be well defended, not a target. But because he played b5, it becomes a target. And when I move my knight here, I was attacking that pawn, which his knight was defending. Now he moves his knight to challenge me. But I mean, he's rated 2000. How's he just hanging this like that? So he hangs this pawn with a devastating win, and now he just resigns because you can't even move the queen back to defend the bishop. You can't go here or here to defend the bishop because they're both covered. So he loses in 10 moves. That was crazy. Well, that was a short speed. Oh wait, no. We only gained 7, not 9. Oh, he lost 42. Didn't say he was provisional though. Why did he lose so many? Okay. We can go again then. We're 1798. We're not 1800. So now we have Ludwig Vasily, rated 1889. He goes e4. We're supposed to play a Sicilian. Now he goes d3. Just some type of closed setup. Let's develop a knight to a square we know we're going to put it. Attack the center. He goes here. He's not contesting this diagonal, so let's get our bishop ready to develop that way. As he chooses a passive but solid enough setup. Now we have to choose what to do with our knight. If we jump it in the center, do we have a response? We do. Having said that, I'm going to push d5 and break immediately while I have the opportunity. He doesn't have a knight here controlling that square. So if I have the opportunity to break and open my pieces and my position, maybe I should do it. So he goes g3. I guess to fianchetto, but he has some light square holes. If I trade that bishop, in any case, I got in d5, so I should have a very nice position. I can even play e5 and really steamroll the center. I think I will. So now I have all of this in. I can develop my knight to e7 just to help support the center. Prepare castling and not block my bishop. Let's do that. I'm ready to castle, and white's bishop is at least 2 moves from getting out, and realistically more, because where's this knight going? And we're going to be going out in 1 move with our bishop. But first let's castle, stay a little flexible. Okay, he goes rook here. So to take away his bishop and his rook activity, now that he spent the turn going here, trying to make it effective on the e-file, now I'm going to push past and make his rook useless here with a space gaining move. And if he takes, I can maintain the space with the pawn, trying to really cramp his pieces, especially a fianchettoed bishop, which, you generally want that to be your best piece if you can make that happen. Okay, he doesn't take. He retreats the knight. That's weird. Maybe he thinks I'm going to take and he's going to have this beautiful square, but I'm definitely not going to do that. So that's a weird move because now it can't go anywhere. So I don't mind seeing that. I mean, we have lots of ideas. We really do have lots of ideas. You could even go in reverse to everything I just said if you wanted and play a 5. He could take, reopening his pieces, and that would open up your pieces. So it would open up his and open up yours, but I'd rather not open up his. So I'm going to make a very slow move that just covers this square from 2 of his minors. So he has no space to maneuver. He's cramped. He doesn't have many squares. He goes here. I mean, I'm not sure what that does. I guess he's trying to gain some space. Maybe. But I'm going to develop my bishop. And now, because I played h6, he cannot go knight g5 attacking my bishop. Okay, so he's trying to remaneuver some weird way. I don't even know. But in any case, we can develop our rook and just continue slow playing it with our more space and make small improvements, and then he'll eventually do something dumb and make a big mistake. If he doesn't, we just keep improving. You see, so he goes here, but he doesn't have a lot of room for his pieces. They look kind of awkward, if you ask me. So now what do we want to do? He did just put his bishop here, which means if I take this, he would have to take with the bishop. And then, does that do anything for us? We could jump the knight in immediately, but then he'll take and then free the other knight. I don't want to help his position at all. So let's just keep gaining space, see what he does, and take away that square from his queen. So he moves his queen, double attacks this pawn. So we're going to improve our king and defend it. And he kind of is running out of moves in a way. Like maybe he has 5 more moves before he's just like has to lash out and do something. We have at least 1, 2, 3, or depending on how we push the pawns. We can even go 4. We can double up on the f-file, over prepare. If we can close down the queen side fully, we would over prepare a 5 pawn push. Otherwise, we can just try to break through on the queen side. Maybe, I don't know, queen b6. We'll see. But now he's thinking, because any move you make is weird. Do you push these pawns? Do you push these pawns? Do you move your king back and forth? What do you do with these knights? Do you push, I was just going to say, this pawn to try to gain some space and make your knight kind of have a job? But now this pawn's a little weird, and we need to develop our queen. So it does make sense to lift the queen up one, which creates a threat on the pawn he just moved, a new target he created for us. So we were thinking maybe queen b6, but now because of his move, queen d7, we change. Responsive chess. Taking into account your opponent's last move often helps you find the best move. So he made this one move that he spent maybe 1 or 2 minutes looking for. And now that he made this one slight space gaining move, now what, right? So now he has to think again. It would be nice to maybe put something here, but so now maybe he'll do something like this, but where's it going? Maybe he reroutes it further. I don't even know. He's gonna have a psychological debate in his head where he's like looking at things over here, and then he's like, actually, let me look over here. And then he's just going back and forth. So he decides to protect the pawn like this. But now the pawn is pinned because the bishop is loose behind it. So what if I attack the pawn again? A third time. He can't take. I mean, maybe he could. We get a bishop. He takes again. We take back. I mean, actually, there's this check. Yeah, there's this check, which forks the bishop and the king. Wow, super annoying, actually. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk it? We can stop that by playing f6. Or maybe bishop f6, but that gets our bishop in trouble. f6 is interesting. Over controlling some squares. It's a small improving move. Temporarily blocking the bishop. The bishop is doing fine as a defensive role right now. In the short term, it's protecting the king. It's nice. So he moves his king over. Maybe he wants to start some kingside stuff, but I don't really see it. Now if I push and he takes and we take, there's no check, and if he takes here, we take with the knight. I don't see the problem there. Otherwise, if he tries to defend again, we get a pawn. He'll take with the knight. He'll get a pawn. What do we have there? I wonder if we have f5. But he always has that check. If we push the f pawn. So here, 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 here. If we take and he takes, and then f5. Check, king back. He takes the pawn. We take the pawn. The bishop moves. It's pinned to our queen. We have to move our queen. I mean, that's a whole lot of stuff. Maybe we could just play on both sides of the field, distract him, his attention, so he gets confused, and gain space all the meanwhile. This isn't going anywhere. This bishop is kind of perma-pinned, because how do you even support this twice? You know, like even if you get the knight here, it's still hanging. So yeah, so he moves the rook there, but I mean, pushing doesn't do anything but hang your bishops. It's a little weird. Maybe he's going to move his bishop now. It's possible. But now maybe we can just break through with c4. Quite interesting. Open up our pieces a little bit. Yeah, let's strike him down. The rook is opposite the queen. Oops. His rooks aren't even connected. His pieces are largely offsides and immobile and kind of doing nothing. And I have more space in the center if you look at the pawn structure. This is the center. I have the 2. He has the 1. And mine's in his half of the board. And now I just put another pawn on his half of the board. on the queen side. So he retreats the bishop, tries to defend the target. I mean, I can just open things up with probably just a better position. What else can I do? I'm running out of time. I wish I had 10 more minutes. I want to think about this. Maybe now that he's come here, I'm just gonna like, I put up this hand, and then when he looks that way, I slap him on the other side of the face. So, what if now I strike on the king side that you move your bishop away from this pawn? I think it's kind of just funny. He might just be really mad. Every time he does one thing, I do a different thing. But now this is targeted 3 times. If he goes back, that's really funny, because then we just got in 2 free moves and it's our turn. If he pushes past, blocking our king and blocking all his activity, ouch, boom, we can push past and increase our pieces, gain more space, and really just, we have full map control. Our king is entirely safe because of him just closing down the position right there. And, I mean, our position is great. Even now, our bishop, depending on what we do with these pawns, can look and support this pawn thrust. You can see our pawns are taking a ton of space on the board. And he's just trying to fight to breathe. He moves his queen. He's targeting this, so he wants to take and eat my pawn. Roger that. But what am I going to do here first? Do I take or do I push past? I think I take and open my rook. Closing is awesome too, but I feel like this should be somewhat deadly. He's going to take with the queen though, isn't he? Then I can go here maybe, just win on the spot. Yeah, let's go here, because if he can't take with the queen because of this, or and many other moves maybe, then he has to take with the pawn, which means we have a connected passer on the 6th. So we can, okay, he takes with the pawn. Now we could push. And he's really in a bad spot. Yeah, let's push, and now this pawn is super strong. It does open up some squares, unfortunately, but I mean, it's so dominating, shouldn't matter at all. He overprotects the knight, which makes some sense. Our rook is pretty nice here. Let's improve this knight. It takes forever to get here. A knight here would look really nice as well. Let me lift my rook. I'm running out of time, which is annoying because now I'm going to make a bunch of like weird inaccurate moves, but I have to move fast because there's no increment. So I'm going to double my rooks. I think I'm just going to pressure the F file. Maybe chuck my bishop here or here and kind of see what happens. It's not going to be the best way, but I don't really have a choice with a minute. I have to do something. You could always try to push here at some point, but I'm trying to use the F file. And I'm this weak F2 pawn that's only defended by the queen currently. That's the reason I might give up my bishop. Okay, now it's over defended. So now I'm going to play on the other side since he moves his rooks. Maybe go here. I think I need to over defend the b4 pawn some more. So maybe queen b7. That way I can move my knight maybe to d4. Okay, this guy's 3 minutes. We have 59 seconds. Okay, he goes back. Let's give it that extra support. Okay, he wants to push f something. We need to improve this knight. So here, here. Okay, he's moving back and forth, I think, if I can tell. Queen in. Okay, with 50 seconds, I mean, I don't mind a queen trade. It's not ideal. I mean, it doesn't actually matter in a position like this. It's not like we're checkmating him, but... Well, we spent 8 seconds, he spent 40 seconds, so that's good. Okay, now he has weird bishop stuff hitting my knight. Maybe I can go here. It's a weird square, but I might try it. I need to get my bishop around at some point. Although it isn't doing a nice job. You know what? Let's push. That looks kind of crazy. He pushes past. Okay. How do you defend this guy? With your rook? That's not ideal. Okay. Now we can go here with 30 seconds. Attack the knight. Takes. And now you can see how we have a complete bind, full map control. He can't move in the center, the king side. The queen side is terrible. If he loses that b2 pawn, we can get a queen right away. Now he has 130, but we're still super low on time. And we need to now reroute this knight yet again here and here and then here. That's the beautiful thing. We need to do that. This other knight will just leave here to tie his rook down for now, until we have some c5 support with the bishop one day, if that ever comes, which it won't because we have 30 seconds. So, okay, now he's at a minute almost. Good. He'll probably make a move instantly once it hits 59 because it alerts you and kind of gives you that little rush. Maybe he doesn't have the alert on. I have it on though. Okay, he moves. Takes. I'm going to take 2 pieces for 1 rook. Oh, he doesn't take it. That's just a free piece then. Okay, I'm up a free piece. I go back. I reroute my knight. I don't care if he wins in exchange or anything. Oddly enough, this knight protects amazingly against his bishop. Let's go here. He pushes. He takes. He trades some stuff. He pins my rook. Like I said, I don't care if he wins in exchange. I'm up 4 points of material. Every time he does that, I just you win faster. He's just liquidating into a losing endgame faster, and we'd much rather take his annoying bishops off the board. This is a check to get out of any type of thing he puts us in. He removes it anyway, but now we can push and push at some point. Maybe we could take this. Okay. Take here. Take, and the queen. He's going to take, and the queen. Defended square. And voila. Oh my god. And we make it to 1806 with 6 seconds on the clock to this guy's 1 second. Analysis board. So I sacked a piece there in the endgame, going super quick, knowing that I had taken his b pawn and that I was going to get a queen. Well, in this case, 2 queens, but so I knew it wasn't going to work out for him. So that's what all that was. So let's go through it maybe a little slower because I kind of had to go fast at the end. So if you see any crazy blunders, just forgive me. Anyway, we have a Sicilian, development, and center. This is strictly development and king safety. We have development and center, and we have a standard enough position. We break in the center and development. We do have one big mistake. That's actually not bad. I thought we would have had really bad, really bad mistakes throughout the game, but it says we only had 2 total mistakes, but only one that matters, so where we lose our entire advantage and go back to equality for 1 turn. So we'll look at that. Anyway, so we just put in the all the pawns in the center because he doesn't put 2 pawns in the center. He refuses as white, so we'll do it as black because he's not stopping us. And center and development, no opening problems. Black obviously equalized by now. Development and center prepares castling. King safety and development. Improving our position, gaining space, and restricting his pieces. Shutting it down the second he decides to go here because you know his next move after this is going to take the pawn and then pressure the center and try to take that guy. And this bishop would become stronger. So we close it down. He goes back. Boom, h6 because we want to play bishop e6. We would if we could, but we know it's going to get hit. So we throw in h6. If we weren't going to get hit, we wouldn't play h6 here. Okay, so now development and center. Development, just queenside development. And what does the engine even say? You can play anything you want here. You just have a better position. As long as you don't blunder anything, you kind of make any move and it's fine. We play b5, just another move to gain space. Nothing too concrete in mind. I mean, there's always c4, but you don't have to push c4. It's just nicely set up now. He goes here, kind of forced move to defend the pawn. Says this is a mistake, but it's extremely natural. At least it looked like it to me. And immediately developing for free because they presented a new target. We just make a very small improving move, maybe threatening h5 one day. Other moves in case you're interested: d takes c, c4, a5. So queenside play are also options, which we got to eventually. We made one little preparatory move just to over control g5 and the center. You see now the bishop and knight don't have to protect this pawn necessarily. And then we get along with the queenside action, a5. And c4. So we played the 2 moves they were suggesting in our own move order. If you don't play this, you can continue along with a4, a3, trying to break down his chain like that. You could try to play g5, which is an interesting move that I like to kind of completely lock down the king side so he has no more pawn breaks and no entry. And then you have a free hand on the queen side. But we break in the queen side. Okay, he goes back to try to address it. And this is the one mistake they said we made. Okay, they call it a blunder because we go from -2, it says, which is kind of just winning, but it's not like tactically winning. It's just that I have full domination, right, in so much space. And somehow they're saying by pushing this, there's this one opportunity for white to equalize the game. So they're saying if he does take here, only move. Wait, I didn't even click. What just happened? What was my idea? Hold on. I forgot my idea. Oh yeah, he moved this way and I said, what if I draw his attention back to the other way? And I know I looked at push, but I'm trying to remember if I even considered capture. Because it seems ridiculous not to consider capture. Like that should be the first thing you look at. But I'm trying to figure out. I can't think of a response to that move, which makes me think I didn't actually look at it. I wonder if I said anything in the video. I don't think I looked at that move. Not that it's crushing or anything. It's just weird that I don't remember having a response to this. Like I'm trying to think. Like if he takes this, what do I want to do? And it's not clear. I guess I have to take back. But yeah, I definitely didn't look at this for some reason. Weird. Okay, so he pushes past, which I definitely looked at and already had F5 prepared. But I guess if he takes, I would take because what else? And this is equal for him because we lose our full bind. We still have great central and queen side expansion, but we lost our grip that we had on the king side. And all of a sudden, his pieces, at least his rook and his bishop and queen, are open. Maybe he can reroute. I mean, it still looks really bad for him, even though the engine says equal. It looks super hard to play still for white, but it definitely opened up his stuff, which I'm still in shock I didn't consider that move. Anyway, so it would have been a quality here, and then maybe he can just, I don't know. Let's look at a random line. C takes D, knight takes D. I mean, his queen's still in the line of fire. He still has to play super accurate. Let's say he just wants to trade a bunch of stuff. We can create a pawn duo maybe, or if we go with the queen, yeah, let's create a pawn duo. Let's say he just, I don't know. Well, he won't develop. He has to kind of move his queen. Let's say he moves his queen and attacks stuff. We defend stuff. Yeah, I can see how like this could be annoying on this side of the board, how open it is now. I mean, I'm more than adequately good and defended. I have way more stuff than him. And I'd much rather be black, but yeah, you definitely want to keep that grip. Like, so let's just go back to the game. I made this weird move, which I definitely should have just continued on the queen side. But in my mind, I was so excited about him pushing past that I guess that's what I just latched onto. And he did push past, which I knew had to be terrible because then we push past and now he closes everything up for himself, but we still get to open things up for ourselves or close it with space gain. You know, we have the choice. So he moves his queen, and I want to see how bad is closing. I know you're going to lose advantage, but how much? Wow. Yeah, if you only rely on the queen side, it drops down to minus 1.6 from 4.6. So you lose 3 pawns by closing, which is still complete positional domination. But opening just makes a lot more sense. Also because of the passed pawn. So there's a lot of reasons, I guess. Okay, so from here on, we don't make any more, egregious moves, only the h5. So now that we fully covered h5 and why it does give white equality, we push past. He moves his queen. And now we're taking, because we want with the sole function of creating this protected passed pawn, I guess it's not sole because we also want to open up our rook and our bishop. Now we create this protected passer, -3, completely winning position from black. So you could see how easy it is to slip up from the white side and just be completely stuck with no plans, no pawn breaks, nothing to do. He just tries to improve. And now we already have a minute at this point. And we're just trying to increase the pressure on the F file. I didn't want to commit anything over here because pawn play requires, if you haven't studied it deeply, like I haven't, it requires thinking. Oh, if I push here, exactly what weakness is, what's that going to look like? And that takes time. And I don't have time. Piece moves are a lot easier to process because the consequences are easily seen. So that's why I decided to just play on the F file. I double my rooks. And then since he went here, he goes left. I strike him on the right. If he takes, we can just build up this immense pawn chain. You can even take with the knight if you wanted, but that's why he doesn't take. He tries to remaneuver, but there's nowhere to go. That's the thing. So we just improve quickly, and now we're making a bunch of really quick moves. We're trying to get our knight to any square where it has a job. Any square where it's just not completely dominated. Because when you're in time trouble, that's good enough. You take your dominated knight and improve it. Just give it any job, and that's good enough. He goes here. I don't want to have to calculate where can his queen go, what's it attacking. So I'm just like, just give me the queen trade. 50 seconds. Now we're here. I see it's somewhat dominated, but not really. It can go here, here. It can go here. Now I push this because even though you have possibilities, with 50 seconds, this move here is so easy to play. They call it a mistake, but it's not a mistake. I know this position is completely winning, and I know that this move is going to destroy him from a practical point of view. He's going to be completely bound with nothing to do, and he's just going to get crushed, which is exactly what happens in the game, and it becomes -4. So the second he pushes, again, he made another pawn push past. That is not strategically desirable for him. But that's why pawn play is so difficult. It's not easy to see the consequences. Here it's kind of obvious to me, but you can also see why he didn't want to take and bring another pawn here or a knight here. He did. That looks terrible too. So he defends the pawn. We just improved the piece. The reason I'm trying to give up my bishop here for a terrible knight when you normally would not is because if he takes, we get to dislodge by force the knight. If the knight moves, everything collapses. So it's worth trading knight for bishop. That's why he doesn't take. But now we can take trading a rook for 2 minors. It's crazy that he doesn't take our rook here. But I guess it just hastens his defeat either way. But now he's down an entire piece, so we just go back. I guess if we were willing to sack it to begin with, we could have left it here like a gangster, but I forgot because I had 20 seconds. So I moved back. Now I'm just, again, this guy dominated. So when I'm in time trouble, right, I don't have the bandwidth to look for absolute best move, this, that, the other thing. I just need to, oh, this piece is dominated. Let me improve this. That's good enough. So we move it back. And then we improve it with threats. Now it's on a good square. And now it coordinates on c5. So my position looks great. He pushes. I mean, you could do whatever you want here. They call this a mistake. It's not a mistake. I mean, with 20 seconds, taking is amazing. It's completely winning, and it leads to mass liquidation, which is easy to play. I mean, the engine, if you don't take, like, the engine is just going to let him push for no reason. Like, why would you do that? Okay, anyway, we take, obviously. We just take free stuff. It's -4. He goes for a cheeky pin, but this only helps our position. We jump our knight in, disconnecting the coordination between bishop and rook and activating our pieces. This guy's well placed permanently because of the long-term pressure. He takes the rook. They call it a blunder, but what's a human going to do, right? It's a rook in your face. But now we're -7 because he has nothing to do but wait and lose. We're way too active, and this is way too annoying a threat with a pawn here to queen. It would be different if our b pawn was on b7 and we were hitting this pawn. Then, sure, maybe we take it when he moves his rook, but he's going to move his rook for activity, give up that pawn, and so what? Our b pawn's not even dangerous. But a b pawn on b3, that's super dangerous, so that changes the entire game. He just retreats, and now we take our last piece that's not doing anything. Some of you would try to reroute this knight and say it's not doing anything. That would be incorrect. Your knight's doing everything here. It doesn't need to do anything else. So I'm trying to just bring this guy here and over support this diagonal and the f4 square, even with 16 seconds. So we find it, -7. And now I push, knowing that even though I'm hanging my knight because of the pin, because he can add pressure, I also know that this is going to win. So he moves going for the free knight. What else could be more normal? I make a random pawn move, but you could have just taken the pawn first. The move order doesn't matter. He goes here. I like this only because it frees the path for my d pawn. You do hang a pawn, which is unnecessary, but I thought maybe I could use both of my pawns, one to distract the other to get the queen. So now I grab free material, and he's just toast. There's nothing for him to do. If he tries to take your knight, let's say, you just go knight e2. What does that do? If he takes your rook, you take it back check. You're about to get a queen here. He loses the game. Instead, he goes for the free piece, but this is liquidation. So we just take more stuff. He takes, we take. He takes, we don't care because we know we're going to get a queen. He takes, we know we're going to get another queen. And I mean, I don't have to go through the rest. But you can see how it was an entirely smooth game. We gave him one opportunity to equalize, and even then, that's the engine equalizing. Just because the engine says that, there's no guarantee this guy would have found the correct 30 perfect moves to equalize. You know what I mean? So in a position like that, one move and you just collapse. Um, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed the end of the speedrun, and stay tuned for a new speedrun tomorrow. Good luck in your chess. I hope you enjoyed. Join my Discord, submit your rapid games. Follow me on Twitch. Goodbye.